Well, our short track swing here in the Herr Sprint Series has come to an end, and we are back on the high-speed ovals, and we head to one of the fastest racetracks of them all. This place can get a little wild, and everything's bigger in Texas, including the wrecks like we saw on Monday in the Herr's Elimination Series. Well, we got a similar length race, slightly larger field. These guys still going for a championship as we're about a third of the way through the season. This is the Fort Worth 150, the 11th race of the season here in the 2024 Herr Sprint Series. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Texas Motor Speedway. We got a lot of racing coming up here from this racetrack over the course of the week. We got ourselves IndyCar coming here as well. Caleb going to be doing that race in a couple of days, but tonight it's Sprint Series night in America, and we are here for 25 laps of action. This race is going to go by pretty quick compared to some of the other ones. I don't think we're going to have 4 cautions here tonight, unlike last week at Martinsville. So, hey, in store for a pretty fun race, and the racing is always really, really fun. And I'm looking forward to Saturday's Cup race as well, because I think we're going to finally start to see some drivers really start to peek out ahead and really show consistency. But we got a string of high-speed ovals coming up here. We got Texas, Talladega, Dover, and then after Dover, it's the Dash for Cash coming up in just a few weeks. More info on that will be given out in the future, but excited to see how it all goes down here for these guys here today. Join alongside my good buddy Andrew Miller for the call of this one. And Andrew, it's been a very, very interesting season here in the Sprint Series. Juan Romero has won 3 of these 10 races we've run so far, but Alex Inero has a 30-point lead on the field and hasn't finished outside the top 10 all season. I asked Matt this last week. I'm going to ask you, which is more impressive so far going into this 11th race of the season?
I'm honestly going to go with probably the top 10s. I mean, Alexander Rowe, as we know, a name that has been around for a long, long time. But the fact that I'm looking at the stats here, yep, as you said, 10 starts and 10 top 10s. Average finishing position 6.1. Consistency is the name of the game, it looks like, for these guys. And but yeah, at the same time, you got the Juan Romero right on his tail with those 3 wins. It looks like only multi-time winner thus far this season. So is consistency going to be the key to this thing, or is it going to be trying to get into victory lane? It's going to be a tight one between those two, it looks like. But don't count out Chris Reynolds. Still not too far behind in third there. But with a good run, could get right back in this thing.
Mm-hmm. And you got to think, too, we still have ourselves 22 races left here in the Herr Sprint Series before we count a champion. This is the longest season that we have all year on the channel at 32 races. So these guys are going to keep on going after with no chase. It's all about the points, and each one of these races counts towards that championship once we get to it Labor Day weekend at Darlington. But hey, we're excited for this one. It's going to be a lot of fun back on the mile and a half. Our first mile and a half race for these guys since Las Vegas a month and a half ago. And guess who won that race? That was Juan Romero. But Brandon Nelson got the win last week, and he starts on the pole here today. Watch out for him, and then maybe go 2 in a row. But I think all eyes are on Alex in a row. Will he keep the top 10 streak alive? Like I mentioned, a 30-point lead on the field. Juan Romero is second in the points, most wins on the year. And how about Chris Reynolds? A very solid year for him. He's 34 points behind. Vinnie Scholl, she's had a great year as well, 40 points behind. A lot like how she won the Rowdy Energy Pro Series Championship last year. And our last winner, Brandon Nelson there, only 43 points behind coming into this race. Michael Lewis, unfortunately, not in this race again, so he's going to fall back a little bit further in the points. But Skylar Taylor, Nathan Faden, Santiago Labarito, Christian Master, Baltazar Steep all back in there. All full-time drivers trying to keep within the range of Alexander Rowe, Juan Romero here. And hey, don't count out Corey Case. If he continues to sign up the rest of the season and get some good runs, he's there 12th in the points, 74 behind, but he's got 3 fewer starts than a lot of these other guys do. He could be a factor as the season goes along. It's Brandon Nelson on the pole here tonight, alongside that 69 there of Andrew Williams. And we got ourselves back in there a couple of full-timers, Baltazar Steep and Skylar Taylor. Then you got the 53 machine. That's Duncan Ward. Best start for him this season. To the inside of the 25, driven by Zayden Davidson. Dylan Matthews, Santiago Labarito make up row number 4. We got Juan Romero and Chris Reynolds in row 5. Nathan Faden and Leonard Kochmer in the 4 in row 6. We got Christian Master in the 80 of Joey Brown in row 7. Corey Case in the 57 and the 93 of Vinny Scholes. We got ourselves the 90 of Alexander Rowe. This is a deep starting position for him, but he's on the inside in 17th alongside the 64 of Aaron Abel. 13 machine is Joe Rutkowski this week, driving for Titan Fury alongside Anthony McClure. And then we got the 50 machine there. Here's Larvin Alonso is back in the 50. And then you got the 99 there of Matt Hunter, who was in the Her's Elimination Series race. Had a pretty solid run on Monday in that one. The 02 is Angel Olvera, won the opening race of the season, had a great run at Coda, and then Eric Monaco in the 96 to round out the field. Those 4 guys in the back were not in last week's race, but 20 guys returning from our last race at the Martinsville Speedway. Let's go ahead and get these guys to roll off here from the Texas Motor Speedway. And Andrew, a very strong field as always. Brandon Nelson, will he go 2 in a row? Will it be somebody else going to victory lane here tonight at the Texas Motor Speedway?
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say 2 in a row for Mr. Nelson. I think that starting on pole might be pretty advantageous, but also he's going to be hungry to try to get a win, gain some points, and maybe try to give those top 2 a run for their money. As you were saying, any of these guys still with a chance, but with Juan Romero and Alexander Rowe in the class that they are, it's going to be interesting to see who can try to get that. But I think Nelson will try to give it a run. I'll be rooting for Rowe, though, to try to keep that top 10 streak going for sure.
Yeah, and he barely kept it going last week. Finished 10th at Martinsville a week ago, and he's 17th. You know, the way this track can be, you can definitely make up a lot of ground early on. And high speed, 1.5 miles here at the Texas Motor Speedway. It's definitely going to be very interesting to see how this one ends up shaking out, because there will be some guys who are clearly better than others with the range and the ratings. Of course, everyone has the same range. Going into this race, some guys are going to have a better car than others, and have to see how it ends up shaking out, as it all does. Of course, no pit stops here on this one, so 25 laps to the green flag. If we do get a caution, back to the 2-lap caution period. It's been a while since we've had that here in the Sprint Series, but we are back to that here tonight. And Brandon Nelson's going to lead us off here to the green flag alongside Andrew Williams. The pace car is down the pit lane. Here we go. It's Sprint Series night in America from the Texas Motor Speedway. Good jump there for Brandon Nelson. Of course, we saw in the Elimination Series race, I should say, on Monday, that the guys found a lot of speed as that race went along, and that ended up becoming a problem at one point. Of course, these guys run the GNS Physics, so they got a slightly different package than they do over there in the Elimination Series. But inside lane proving to be the place to be as Brandon Nelson leads lap 1 with Baltazar Steep. Andrew Williams, or should I say Duncan Ward. Andrew Williams has been in that 53 a lap this season. Duncan Ward is now behind that wheel, trying to rebound and finally get a good run in the series. And it's Dylan Matthews won in Atlanta, and then Santiago Labarito won in Willow Springs to the inside of him there. And that's going to be for the 4th position.
Inside looking like the place to be. As you said, I mean, the guy started 2nd place already. Conclusion of lap number 2, and barely holding under the top 10 is the 69 already. So, yeah, maybe with some tire wear, if there's going to be much tire wear in the race this short, maybe they'll start to even out a bit. But I think these guys are trying to get to the inside as quick as they can, and that could maybe cause some issues if anyone gets impatient.
That definitely caused some issues on Monday in the Elimination Series race. Duncan Ward to the inside of Baltazar Steep there for the 2nd position. And he's going to move up there, and Labarito and Dylan Matthews continue the battle there now. I was about to say, and I lost my thought there. They found some grip on the outside lane in that Elimination Series race, and guess who's finding grip on that outside lane right now? That's Juan Romero in the 87. And turns 1 and 2 especially, as the tires wear out a little bit, you get a little bit deeper into the run. You know, you can find that magic line and get something to work. Andrew Williams, just he ain't in today. Let's just put it that way. That's 69 falling back a little bit right there. How about the home team? Andrews Racing, Christian Master, and Corey Case. They're moving themselves into the top 10, and Andrew Williams slots into the 10th position. And guess who is right here, just outside the top 10? Alexander Rowe. Will he keep it going here today? We're just going to have to find out and see. Brandon Nelson continues to lead in the 92, but Duncan Ward has a fast car there for Hollywood Motorsports. And you know what? This might be Duncan Ward's day. He might finally get a good run here in this series. Of course, what happened to him last week at Martinsville was quite unfortunate, getting pushed onto that inside on the cool-down lap and getting penalized for it. but a little harder to get penalized, a little harder for things like that to happen here at Texas.
Thankfully. But yeah, I kind of lost the momentum there once he got closer to the 92. I've dropped back maybe a couple car lengths. I mean, they're pushing hard. They know that this is a short one. So, as I think I say this a lot in a lot of these races, but it reigns true that you gotta save some rubber, no matter how short the race is, because I mean these ain't no they are sprints, but not exactly.
Well, what is
because
this series
25
called,
laps,
Andrew?
I mean, yeah, but you still got to save at least some stuff for the end, or else you're just going to drop like a rock.
Nathan Faden right now is not dropping like a rock. He has moved through the field very nicely, and so has Juan Romero. I mean, no surprise here, is it? Our last mile-and-a-half race was Las Vegas, and Juan Romero went to victory lane in that one. Now, I will say, these guys are spreading out a lot more than they did in the Elimination Series race. Of course, like I said, these guys, they run the GNS physics, so it races a little bit differently than what we're going to see on Saturday in the Interstate Batteries 400. But definitely some good stuff going on here, and I like the way these guys can stay side by side for a while. You got Christian Master and Juan Romero battling it out for 7th. Master looking to take that away from the 87. But up front, oh, we might have a shot right here. How about this 53 of Duncan Ward? Closed right to the back bumper of Brandon Nelson. Will he peek to the inside in 3 and 4? He's got a nose right here, but Nelson found that grip up there in the middle lane, and he's going to be able to hold on to the race lead. But now, top 3 under a blanket. Brandon Nelson, Duncan Ward, and Baltazar Steep in these positions. And if they battle it out enough, watch out for Nathan Faden. He's been really quick here as this run has gone along.
Looks like just about everyone there, and probably about the top 6 actually closed a little bit on each other, pretty much throughout that entire pack. So, and then right as we say that, there goes the 92 pulling away. As you said, found some grip on that outside, even though it looked like the 53 was going to get on his quarter panel, kind of push him up the track, but it actually kind of benefited the 92, and has pulled a couple car lengths once again. But we'll see if the rebound could come into play here for the 53 or the 88, if the 88 doesn't try to take this run that he's got.
And Baltazar Steep has had some good runs here in this season, but he's also had some bad runs as well. He's had a lot of bad luck, especially earlier on in the year. He did not get off to a good start in that 88 machine, but trying to get something to go his way. Of course, he's a full-time driver, so he's going to be in each of these races, so you know he's in it for the championship. But so is Brandon Nelson, so is Nathan Faden, so is Santiago Labarito. How about the full-timers here today? They have found themselves running very well. Duncan Ward and then Zayden Davidson, along with Corey Case. They're the only 3 guys who are not full-time in the top 10 right now. Juan Romero, though, slipping back in that 87. It looks like he may have had a pretty good shot there early on, but just like you said, he didn't save the rubber early on, and now he's starting to slip back. And speaking of slipping back, guess who has slipped back? Alexander Rowe. The streak might end right here because it's not looking too good for him. Back there in the 19th position and continuing the fall back.
At this point in the race, I don't think you're going to climb back that far. So, I mean, still 10 top 10s. Can't complain about that. But you know that he's probably more worried about the battle with the 87 at the moment. So, let's see if he can try to gain any spots back. Oh, here we go. This might be a good chance for the 53 if he can keep it down there.
Yeah, if he can get a good run in the 3 and 4 and actually hold the line before they enter the corner, he might have a shot here. This 53 is definitely faster than 92, but it is a little difficult to make a pass here, but I think he's got it this time. To the inside for the race lead, Duncan Ward and Brandon Nelson, and they're going to be side by side off the corner as well. That's the thing I like about this track, at least in NR2003. May not necessarily get races like this in real life. Of course, in real life, this track is an absolute mess. We all know it. But hey, here in the game, it's pretty fun. And Duncan Ward is going to make the first pass for the race lead here tonight. And next time by, we only got 10 laps to go here in this Fort Worth 150. How about Baltazar Steep here? And how about Nathan Faden? They're all in each other now for the race lead. And Brandon Nelson trying to get the outside lane to work. But he's going to slip back, and now Baltazar Steep to the inside of Duncan Ward for the race lead. Will Duncan even get a lap led in this race? He will. That's going to be a bonus point for him. But here comes Baltazar Steep, Nathan Faden on the inside lane, and the top 5 are all under a blanket here with 10 laps to go.
Oh, big check up there on the inside lane. Look at Santiago Labarito also just kind of flirting with maybe getting in on this pack.
Whoa!
Whoa!
That was tight.
that
was very
not gonna
tight.
Work there,
and Baltzar, like you said, he had to check up there, and that completely hurt his momentum through 3 and 4. And Brandon Nelson took it right back, and now he's back in second. So a good rebound there for Brandon Nelson in the 92. You also got the 5 of Santiago Labrito, like you said there, Andrew. And you also got Zayden Davidson trying to move his way on the inside lane. Corey Case, Christian Master, Dylan Matthews. They're closing back in. They're closer than they are. They're closer now than they were about 10 laps ago. These guys definitely finding each other, close to each other late in the going here. But Duncan Ward holding on to the race lead. He's got himself 8 laps to go for his first career win on the channel. He might be able to pull it off here tonight.
Got a few car lengths, but we've seen that rebound come into play as the 92 trying to cool his tires down and get that slipstream and maybe try to get back with a shot. He definitely has enough time to do it, and he's got a bit of a gap to Nathan Faden so that he doesn't have to worry about that too much. Although Faden, of course, is going to try to change that if he can. It's going to come down to one of these top 3 at this point.
You say that, but you never know what could happen. Those guys get 3 wide or something, and then, here comes Zayden Davidson. Here comes Christian Master trying to get something to go their way. Anthony McClure, of all the guys who are full-time, he is easily the worst of them all. 21st in points, and we only have 10 full-timers in this series. It has not been good for Anthony McClure here in the Herr Sprint Series this season, but he's knocking on a top 10 right here. He's only got 2 top 10s all season compared to Alexander Rowe's 10. But it looks like it might flip around because Alexander Rowe really deep in the field for this one. Not a good run for guys like Joe Rakowski, Andrew Williams, and then the 0-2 of Angel Olvera. That's not what we're used to seeing out of Olvera in this series. Obviously, he's got an average finishing position of 3 in the 2 starts he has. Got the opening race of the season, and also got a good run at Coda. And speaking of good runs, look at Brandon Nelson there through 3 and 4. And he's going to carry it there in the 1 and 2, and I think he's going to take it back away from Duncan Ward right here, or at least try to do so. That 53 might get some grip there on the outside lane with 5 laps to go.
Dead even here. Man, that was a perfect 3 and 4 out of the 92. He's going to get there. But Candy trying to make it stick on the inside.
And Nathan Faden might have second here on Duncan Ward. And this one might have a shot at the race win. He's got to get around this 53 pretty quick if he's going to have a shot. How about Brandon Nelson? Obviously, came on strong last week at Martinsville. And now, that was a good run because he lost the lead and it got it back away from the 53. And now he's starting to pull away and time's running out for Nathan Faden. It's only 3 laps to go next time by. Faden will clear Duncan Ward right here. How about Zayden Davidson in this 25? Zayden Davidson, 4 top 5s on the year so far and only 7 starts, and he's about to get a 5th one in his 8th start of the season. Oh, Nathan Faden's going to have a shot here on Brandon Nelson before this thing is done. We'll have to see if Faden can finally go to victory lane this season. It's not been the best of the season's form considering he's full-time, but Nelson with a good run right there, and Zayden Davidson going for 3rd on Duncan Ward.
I was watching the 92 run slightly higher in 1 and 2 there, trying to find that grip that you were talking about. And, it looks like he found it there. The 1, not a good 3 and 4. He's going to put Patrick with 2nd place in jeopardy there. Boy, that was a sentence. But it's looking good now for the 92 as they're side by side.
They're still battling for 2nd place. And Brandon Nelson looking to go 2 in a row here in the Herr Sprint Series. And I'd watch out if I was Alexander Rowe, Juan Romero after this one here. Now the battle's on for the last transfer spot. Oh boy, how about Nathan Faden? He got a really good run there through 3 and 4. He's closing in. Here we go. White flag at Texas, and Nathan Faden, he's got like 10 miles per hour on Brandon Nelson to the inside for the race lead. Where did that come from? Oh my goodness. And Nathan Faden, they're going to have a battle all the way to the end here. Brandon Nelson and Nathan Faden, they're side by side in the last lap. It looks like Christian Master might get the last transfer spot back in there. And Brandon Nelson trying to get the outside lane to work here. Will they be side by side up the corner? No! Faden's going to clear. And Nathan Faden's going to win the Fort Worth 150 here in the Herr Sprint Series. Oh my goodness.
Last lap pass. Golly, that was cool. Although I did pick the 92, so that explains a lot.
You're not as good at that as Nathan is, so now Nathan's going to be mad at you. So that's his car right there that just lost. Well, that was a
And he's
lot
my
of
team
fun
owner.
there. How about that? For the one of Nathan Faden, 1 lap led, and he gets the race win here in the Fort Worth 150. First win in quite some time for Faden as well, so great to see that out of the Trackhouse Racing driver. Brandon Nelson, he'll still be racing on Saturday in the Interstate Batteries 400, so will Zayden Davidson and Christian Master getting that last spot. That's a shame for Duncan Ward. He was about to make his first career Cup start and fell back to 5th right there. That's a shame, but at least he got a top 5. Zayden Davidson's got the pole, assuming he signs up next week at Talladega. Now, granted, Talladega is Talladega, so maybe it doesn't necessarily matter too much. But Brandon Nelson 2nd, Nathan Faden there, Santiago with the 4th place fastest lap, and then Duncan Ward with the 5th place one. I keep on wanting to say that's Andrew Williams. I know Andrew wanted at 53 every race, but that didn't end up happening. Take a look at the rest of the fastest laps right there for your reference. And then the last 4 positions in the fastest lap running order as well. Nathan Faden pulls it off here tonight at Texas. And, after seeing that, what are you looking forward to on Saturday in the Interstate Batteries 400, the Wawa Cup Series, having the Cup guys go at it here on this track after what we saw there in the Sprint Series race?
Multi-groove racing. That's going to be awesome. I mean, once you get a few laps going, you can make that outside lane work for sure. I think what happened there, Nelson just tried to probably get a little bit too much out of it to try to get the run off the corner, and it was just going to push up, and he had to blip it. I would have to imagine he blipped the throttle coming off the corner there, because otherwise it was going to the wall. But yeah, I'm hoping and expecting to probably see a little bit more of that. Guys being able to make the outside work to either make a pass or at the very least hold on to a position. And that is going to be awesome. And especially once we see strategy come into play, whereas this one, of course, just have at it. So that is, I know what I had said about picking Brandon Nelson and kind of burning him there, but seriously though, that was awesome. You don't see a last lap pass too often, and you don't see it get that close. So that was really cool, and I am super, super glad to have been a part of this one. Thank you again for bringing me up here.
You know I love having you up here, man. I mean, come on. Hey, you know what? That was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to Saturday's race because, you know what? After seeing that, we're going to be in store for a good one on Saturday in the Interstate Batteries 400. A little bit shorter than the race last year as well, so only 67 laps, 1 pit stop for those guys, and it could also end up being a caution-free race as well, which, hey, you know what? After the past couple of races we've had in the Wawa Cup Series, that is a very welcome sight to see, but I don't want to count on it. Obviously, we had a big wreck on Monday in the Elimination Series. We'll just have to see how it all ends up shaking out. But hey, congratulations to Nathan Faden on his race victory here in the Herr Sprint Series from Texas, his first of the season. And here are the point standings for the Herr Sprint Series after 11 races. Next week, it's Talladega. We're going to have a lot of fun there. The race number 12 of the season in the Alabama 200. So it's going to be a very interesting race, a little bit longer than some of the other races in terms of the mileage. And hey, what else do I need to say? It's Talladega. Anything can happen there, and we're gonna have a fun race in the Sprint Series there. Sign up for that race coming up in just a couple of minutes, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on AG the channel. Thank you so much for watching once again. Congratulations to Nathan Faden on behalf of Andrew Miller. I will see you guys later.